Hi guys, my name is Amina Farota. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're interested in true crime horror stories, click on the subscription button and don't forget to click on the notification bell to get updates from me whenever I update new videos. Hello. So today we'll be talking about a madman. His name is Pedro Rodriguez Filho. So Pedro Rodriguez Filho hails from Peru. So this man is a serial killer. Pedro Rodriguez Filho. The circumstances around his death, they were just well. Let's just get to the story. So Pedro Rodriguez was born to a school security guard. His dad was a security guard. His dad was very abusive to the mom. Like the dad beat up the mom when the mom was pregnant to the point that she gave birth to him. When she gave birth to him, he had a fractured skull from the beating he gave to the mom. So when he was born, the dad just kept abusing them so until fast track to when he was 13 years old. Now during Pedro's confession, he said the first time he had urge to kill a person was when he was 13 years old. But then when he turned 14 years old, he killed a person. Guess who? The mayor of his town, the vice mayor of his town. And he was born in Santa Rita, I forgot to say. So the first person he murdered was the mayor of his town. Reason being that the mayor of the town had fired his dad because his dad was accused of stealing food from the school canteen. So after killing the mayor, he killed him in a public hall. Then after murdering the mayor, he proceeded to murder a security guard because he had suspected the security guard as the actual thief, as the person that was stealing from the kitchen. So he killed him. And then fast track to when Pedro was 21 years old, he murdered his own dad. He killed his dad because his dad had killed his mom. He killed his dad as a revenge. So he gave his dad a 21 matched blows to the head, and then he gave him 22 stab wounds. He proceeded to rip out his heart, and then he ate the heart and spat it out as revenge. Then before Pedro became 18 years old, he had succeeded in murdering over 20 persons. First off, he saw himself as someone that wanted to read the world of evil persons, so to speak. So he had fallen in love with this lady. Her name was Maria. So he fell in love with Maria. They moved in together. They were living together. And then when Maria was in some sort of she was a member of some drug gang. So when they fell in love, they started living together. And then she got pregnant. While she was pregnant, one of the person Maria was working for killed her. So because they killed her and the unborn baby, Pedro visited them at a wedding reception. So when he visited them there, him and his two friends, like he had recruited 2 soldiers, they followed him there. When they got there, he killed 7 persons and then he left 16 wounded. This happened before he was 18 years old. And then Pedro's first arrest took place in 1980. So at the time he was arrested, he was accused of murdering about 71 persons. But Pedro went ahead to give them the correction that no, he didn't murder 71 persons, he murdered over 100 persons. And then when he was arrested in 1980, he was charged and he was sentenced to 126 years in prison. And as at this time in Peru, in Ecuador rather, sorry, it wasn't nobody was allowed to live in the prison for over 30 years. So while he was in prison, he committed other crimes, one of which was he murdered about 47 of his prison inmates. One of the police records even showed that while at one point they were trying to transfer him from a prison to another prison. This guy, he was handcuffed, and then he was handcuffed with a fellow inmate. Both of them were at the back of the van. But before they got to the destination, he had murdered the other inmate while his hands were handcuffed without the knowledge of the police. And then when they stopped and then they opened the vehicle, they found the other inmate there. He told them that he murdered him because he was a rapist. And then while he was in prison, he spent most of his adult years in prison. He fell in love with another prisoner who was a woman. She was arrested. She was to spend 12 years in jail for theft and other several crimes. So while he was with her, they were allowed conjugal visit, they were visiting each other. He murdered another inmate. Reason being that he said he caught him spying on them during their conjugal visit. So after murdering 47 inmates in the prison, his prison term was increased to 400 years, but eventually he spent 30 years in prison, and he was released in 1994. Just before he was released, he was caught, he murdered another person again, and then he was arrested. While he was arrested, in the same year 1994, and then he was finally, when they arrested him, he murdered a 20-year-old woman, 20-year-old girl rather. While he was arrested, at the end of the day, they said they found him not fit to stand trial and all of that, so he was sentenced to a psychiatric home. And then he only spent 4 years in the psychiatric home, and then he was released. So Pedro was finally released in 1998. So Jude is a free man now, and he has a new girlfriend. They are living together. They are trying to extend their happily ever after. So tell me what you think about Pedro Rodriguez video. Do you think his upbringing like kind of had effect on him, or do you think he's just a crazy, a very stupid man, or do you think his problem was the devil within? Thank you. Just let me know in the comment section. Just